Spoiler alert, if you have not seen this season SBS Alone Australia, then I suggest you turn off now, go and watch it, and then come back because I'm about to chat to the winner of this season SBS Alone Australia, Krzysztof Wojtkowski. I think I said that right. Now, why you
That's
might
enough.
ask, thank you. Why am I interviewing someone from something like this show? It's because throughout the episodes, he talks about his neurodiversity being an advantage. And I'm all for this community understanding that it's a really good thing. I'm Angie from My Buddy Gard, and you guessed it, I would like to introduce Krzysztof Wojtkowski, the winner of this season, SBS Alone Australia. Welcome.
Thank you, Angie, and hello, everybody.
So, how amazing. So, there are people out there that have not seen Alone Australia. I don't understand it. It's a brilliant show. So, how would you preface what it's about? Like,
That's basically imagine 10 people that would consider themselves reasonably outdoorsy being picked up and dropped in the middle of nowhere and see how long they can survive on their lonesome. And that's it in a nutshell. And then
that's
you
it
get
in a
to,
nutshell. But you're only allowed to take a certain amount of items, and
that's
they have
correct.
to be approved.
So we get a list of 10 items or 10 survival items that we get to take along with us. And then uh, with that, we can create, we can hunt, we can fish, and we record the whole experience. And you can watch our descent into madness as time progresses.
And you say that because you're recording it yourself. There's not a film crew, there's no backup. You are literally alone.
That's correct.
It's
It's as
crazy.
close to a good a psychological experiment as you could possibly do about watching someone by themselves.
By themselves for quite a long time, actually. So, what did you learn about yourself doing that? Because you were in the bush alone for 64 days. Did you have any surprises of how you dealt with that?
The big thing was it reinforced just how much I like me time and being out in the bush. It's a great time because of the neurodiversity. It's a chance to just like take the mask off and be myself and be my true self. So I don't have the exhaustion and that sort of burnout that sort of comes with that. Where
Yeah,
after being in a public place and having to put on a mask and pretend to be someone that you're not, and then coming home and then just being like, ah. And it was
yeah.
just great. It was peaceful. I was surrounded by nature. I could get up when I wanted. I could go to sleep when I wanted. I could do what I want. It was great.
Yes, yeah. And I suppose that in the environment you already love. So you already love nature, you're already looking after. Did you already hunt yourself? Is that something you've done
A little
before?
bit. I wouldn't say hunting was my big forte, but
Mhm.
I packed a bow. Better to have it not need it than need it not have it.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Right. And what was what was the hardest to do without them?
Well, I've definitely missed a few people from time to time. I
Mhm.
missed my partner. I missed my family.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I found that I was thinking about the most while I was out there was food. It was just all the
Well, I
time
think you were
food.
hungry a lot, actually.
You say that, but as time progressed, I was less and less hungry.
Really?
I feel that like food is almost like an addiction. Like when you do without it initially, you're like, oh, I'm craving it. I need to eat something. But the longer you go without it, the less you
That's
sort of need
important.
it.
Yeah, right. Did you have a photo of your partner or a loved one? Were you one that took that as one of your things, a photo?
Yeah, I had a little photo of us at what was it? I think it was a Father's Day celebration the year before, and it was the whole family sitting around a table at a
Oh,
restaurant. And I pull it out from time to time, and the first thing that I notice on that table is because it was just before we had our main courses served, the little bread roll on the side plate. It was like, oh,
you
I would
you saw the
love some
food.
fresh bread.
Oh, nothing beats a nice piece of fresh bread. Oh, yes. Well, I wondered about, so did you, it made it feel good to see that photo?
Yeah, like I can picture my family and my friends and all my loved ones in my head. So
You
the
didn't
photo
need it.
was, I could take it or leave it. It didn't really bother me. Like I was joking with Erin before going out there that I should take a photo of Tom Selleck with me and put that up somewhere in the shelter.
I won't ask why. No,
Um,
in
it'd make
our
for a great visual gag.
Yes, yeah. Our family have discussed, would we take the photo? Because of course we've dreamed about going on alone as well. And I'm all for the photo. I'm a little bit of a photographer enthusiast, not a professional, but I love it. So photos are everything to me. Whereas my husband is like, nah, it'll take me out of the zone. I just need to focus. It's really interesting, isn't it? Completely different, um, what that would do for you, how that would affect your emotions. So I was just curious to see what you thought of it. Now, in episode 6, this is what this was all about. You were on that beautiful beach and you were spinning flax leaves to make rope. Yes, you made your own spinning wheel. I just might add that as well. Like, hello, how amazing. But it was a really, really impactful episode for me because that's where you spoke about you being questioned what you felt your superpower was. And I remember you said it was your neurodiversity because it made you think different or think outside the box. Can you explain what you meant by that?
So I should probably preface it with neurodiversity is a bit of a double-edged sword, but in that particular environment, I could definitely see the advantage because, for instance, I can compartmentalize different things. I can just hyper focus on something and like making the rope. I'd start that in the morning, and before I knew it, 6 or 7 hours had passed, and it'd feel like half an hour.
Wow.
And I could do that for weeks because that was my focus at the
Yep.
time. And
Hmm.
nothing else in the world mattered. And because you can focus on that, you're not worried about anything else. And it's weird because I've got a lot of friendships that, for instance, when we're together, we're like the best of friends and everyone's having a great time, but then we can sort of like part ways for a couple of years and it
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter at all. And then we come and see each other again. It's like no time has passed.
Yeah.
And I sort of feel the same way about like with my family and my close friends and things like it doesn't matter if we're apart for a little bit because I know that I'm going to see them again in
Mm.
maybe a few weeks time or a couple of months time. And it's going to be like no time's passed.
Yeah.
And just being able to sit there and sort of like look at problems and go, okay, let's approach it from this angle. Okay, that's not working. Let's approach it from this angle. Okay, that's not working. Well, let's approach it from this angle. Okay, it's not working. Well, so what? It's not working.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you started that saying it's a double-edged sword though. So it
Yeah,
probably has a disadvantage as well, but you're focusing on the parts of it that you feel can be used to your advantage. Is that?
most definitely. We
Yeah.
only live once, so what's the point in focusing on the negatives when you can focus on the positive and just be happy?
Absolutely. And hyperfocus, that is a skill. That is a superpower, I think. And I know you were, I think you said you found out you had ADHD at 11 and they
That's
did
right.
bandy about the ASD. So do you think that when you and your family got that diagnosis that it was really impactful or was it a little bit more, yeah, and it's us, it's
At the
me?
time, I didn't really understand what was going on because I was
Yeah.
still very young.
Mhm.
The way I saw it was like I was just one of the lucky ones who could get to go into one of those special groups and play with the kids on a Thursday afternoon. But it meant that being put on the Ritalin, as most kids were in the 90s, and
Mm.
that sort of zonked me out for a couple of years. And I don't really remember much from that period, but I remember coming off of them and then just continuing life as per normal. It was
Mm.
only in the last sort of few years that I sort of started exploring that whole side of things a bit more and getting a better
Yeah.
understanding of how my brain works, and then going, oh, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. Okay, this makes sense. And it's like a whole new world has opened up to me, and like everything sort of just sort of fell into place and made more sense. So I could then come up with strategies on how to deal with certain situations. Like there's certain scenarios that I'm really, really uncomfortable with. Like depending on like crowds, for instance, like I don't like walking through, say, a night market. Being in places like IKEA make me really, really uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
So just recognizing these sorts of things, I can then understand why, minimize it, or do things that will then help me sort of cope with it. So even if it's just like going away for 5 minutes and sitting in a quiet place, that sort of thing helps.
Right. That's really good. I like that because you've explored and been honest to yourself that that's an issue. And then from there, you've worked out a strategy that you either do avoid, and that's just what it is, or you find a strategy that makes it possible for you to get through. And then, of course, you come past and collapse. I think a lot of, I mean,
Yeah,
get
then you get the
through it and then
burnout.
you go, "Phew, did that." Is that
Mm,
right?
very much so.
Yeah. Now, you also spoke about how you hadn't really spoken to your extended family or your friends about your neurodiversity, and that your coming out, as you phrased it, was actually on the show. Coming back, how were those conversations? How did people approach that and talk to you about it, or how was that?
Coming up to the episode playing, I was actually quite nervous and a little bit apprehensive about it happening, like because I haven't spoken about it and because it has had such a stigma attached to it. I
Yeah.
was noticeably worried, but like after it played, it was not what I expected at all. I had people coming out left, right, and center going, "Oh, you've got ADHD too. So do I. How come we've never spoken about this?" And just
Wow.
all this really, really positive reinforcement, and all these people coming out and going, "Yes, I love that you spoke about that. Yes, I've got the same. Yes, I can relate to that." And it was just liberating almost.
Yeah. I was so hoping you would say that. I was so hoping that you've come out, and I can imagine it would have been a little bit nerve wracking. I don't know how you cope watching something, watching yourself back for every episode and things like that would be, quite nerve wracking as well. But yeah, I can understand that that would have been a little bit nerve wracking to see. And how wonderful that all your community that you love are all similar as well, or a lot of them are similar as well. And
Yeah, it's
you're
very
just
much
the first
birds of a
one.
feather flock together.
Yes. And yet you'd still not even said anything to each
Yeah.
other. Oh, that's actually, I like hearing that. I'm pretty excited about that.
Mm.
Well, you've certainly had a big year, haven't you?
Most definitely.
you know, starring on TV, winning it. I can only imagine what the interviews and all the sort of things that went with that
It
star.
was definitely a unique experience and a little bit overwhelming at times, but I'm happy that I had the opportunity and hey, it meant I got to talk to people, I got to share my story,
Yeah.
and I hope that it's inspired someone out there.
Well, I mean, you inspired our family, and hence why I hunted you down and asked for this interview. So I really do appreciate it. How was the
My pleasure.
Logies? You even did the Logies as
Yeah,
well.
that was fun. I got to do the sparkle box, did the hair flick, and it was a lot of fun. Like
How
that was
exciting.
just so much fun. I met so many wonderful people and yeah, it was
And I bet you, if we had have asked you 12 months ago, would you expect to be walking the red carpet of the Logies? You would have said we were crazy.
would have never even considered it.
Yeah, no. Well, congratulations on that. So what's next? Is there going to be like a, well, you can't tell me anyway, but if was there an Alone All Stars, would you do it again? I suppose.
If I had an opportunity to go bush again, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good response. And what else? You work with fish.
Aquaculture. So yeah, we
Say it
raise
again because I always get tongue tied.
aquaculture. So it's raising barramundi.
Oh, how exciting. Yeah, I love barramundi. That's good. What's next for you then?
Wait and see what happens. I'm sort of still sort of recovering from the whole experience. I've gone back to work and I'm loving it. It's such a good job. There's enough variety in it to
Yeah.
stay interesting, so there's not that sort of same sort of repetitive process at all, which is I don't think I could ever do.
And
Um,
working with wildlife, or with animals, and it's very your
Yeah.
nature,
Yeah, it's a
so
hands-on job. There's a lot of things involved, so it's never always the exact same thing happening. So it stays nice and interesting. And besides that, I'm trying to go bush as often as I can because after coming back from alone, I've realized I really enjoy being out in the bush. So I've been trying to go camping at least once a month or
yeah,
do some
wow.
sort of a trip or something like that.
Yeah.
And so far, it's sort of been working, and it's actually really nice. Like you come back refreshed and you're ready to face another few weeks of work, and then you can disappear again and do something. And yeah, it's nice.
I love it. Yes. Well, I'm a camper as well, and I think we all need to. Do they say unplug? Is it often a way that people use that? I think it's good
Hmm.
for everyone to touch dirt, get dirty, walk in nature, that sort of stuff. I think it's all
Sit
good
around a
for
campfire,
sitting
listen
around a
to the sound of
campfire.
some running water.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's my jam as well, actually. That's what we do regularly. So yeah, awesome. Now how do people, if they wanted to follow your journey? Um,
Probably best on Instagram, actually.
mhm.
I've spent years and years trying to have zero online presence, and then after this whole experience, it's like, okay, I guess I got to do a backflip on that. So I've set up my Instagram under Forging Adventure.
Can you
Um,
spell that?
Forging and Adventure Adventure.
Yeah.
Or just look up my name, but Forging Adventure is probably easier.
And I might just sort of see if I can add that so people can find
Oh,
you. That
thank
would
you.
be great. And what about, where do they see you on Alone? How would they watch you?
So if you'd like to watch Alone, I believe it's on SBS On Demand at the moment,
Yeah.
and it might get picked up by some other networks somewhere down the track, but that's probably the best place at the moment.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, that's where I saw it, was SBS On Demand as well. That's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for chatting to me today.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, look, your message about getting the neurodiversity out there and it being an advantage and understanding, I loved how you spoke about that, understanding how you tick and working out, you know, what you need. I thought that was wonderful. And so I think you're living proof that you can make the most of it and have a positive attitude. I loved that. Congratulations again on
Thank you so
winning
much.
SBS season 2 of Alone Australia. But more importantly, thank you for opening up on this topic, which, as you pointed out, has been quite taboo. So thank you for having the confidence to do that to help everyone else. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you.